Hello everyone, my name is Samhita Purnapatre and I will be performing a lumbar spine assessment today for the module 3 individual activity. So he is Saurabh who will be the model for us today. Thank you so much for agreeing with this assessment. So before starting with the examination, I will first ask my patient briefly history, which will roughly cover about how the pain is, how it started, what is the severity and intensity of pain, what are the aggravating relieving factors, and also most importantly that is the pain is referring to the lower limbs. So let's start with the assessment. So first I will do the posture assessment in posterior view. Yes. Okay. So I'll start by seeing the shoulder heights, both the inferior angle of scapula, both the PSIs, if they are in same line, gluteal folds, knee creases, and also I will check for the TA and ankle position. Okay. After this, I will palpate the spinous processes and go through the midline to check if there are any deviations from the midline, such as presence of scoliosis or presence of lateral shift of the pelvis. If there is a presence of scoliosis, I will either ask him to bend laterally or bend forward to differentiate if it's a structural or a functional scoliosis. Once this is done, let us assess the posture in the lateral view. Look straight. Yes. Can you cross your hands so I can see better picture? Okay. So let's go through the spinal curvatures, the cervical lordosis, thoracic kyphosis, and lumbar lordosis. Looks normal. I will also see for the pelvis position if it's excessively anteriorly tilted or posteriorly tilted, and I will also see for the knee hyperextension. Okay. Let's do the gait assessment. Can you walk down the hallway for me around? Yes. And here I will see if the patient has any pain, compensation, weakness, or foot drop, and one more up. And I will also see if the normal gait parameters such as heel strike, foot flat, toe off, such as. So okay, since you are in this position, I also want you to walk on your heels. Yes. This is to screen the L5 myotone. And while coming back, can you walk on your toes? This is to screen for the S1 myotone. Thank you so much. Yes, come in the center. We'll do the active range of motion assessment. Place both your hands on your thigh. Slide them down slowly and bend down as much as you can without bending your knees. Yes, don't bend your knees. And yes, up. Any pain?
No.
No. Can you do it one more time? And I will apply a little overpressure in the end to see if the patient's symptoms are coming back. Anything?
No.
In the active range of motion assessment, I will mainly see for three things. If the pain is coming back, if the range of motion is restricted, and third is the quality of movement. Yes, now go back from your spine and don't bend your knees. And straight. Good. Anything?
No.
Place your hands on the side. Yes. Can you face in the front? And slide your right hand down and bend to the right side. Here also let's compare the both sides for range and restriction. To document the range, here we use where the fingertip is reaching. It should ideally at least reach up to the knee. Thank you. Yes. And go on one side, rotate as much as you can, apply a little overpressure in the end and compare it on the other side. See if there is restriction. Any pain, Saurabh?
No.
Fine. Now let's do the combined movement assessment for the hip quadrant. So face there. Place both your hands on your side. I want you to bend down, bend backwards and sideways, bend on the right side. Come back and do the opposite and sideways. This will put pressure on the right facetal joints and the center. Again, first bend backwards and sideways. This will put the pressure on the left facetal joints. Similarly, I can also perform this by asking him to do first side flexion and then extension to cover all the hip quadrants. Okay. So active movements are done. I will assess his lumbar mobility with the Schober's test. Yes, this position. So I will mark his S2, which is in line with both the PSIs. I will mark 10 centimeters up and 5 centimeters down a point, so which gives me a total of 15 centimeter range. Now can you bend down for me and hold hold that position without bending your knees, and then again measure the distances. It is 22 centimeters, which is 7 centimeters of increase. If the patient is not able to bend and increase less than 5 centimeters, then it is considered as lumbar stiffness. Okay. Face then, we will perform the classic stop test, which is for the SI joint. Place both your hands at the back. Lift your right leg up and bend backwards from your spine. Yes. And low pressure. Any pain?
No.
Okay. Come back to neutral and perform on the other side. Good. Looks fine. Yes. One more test that I want to show is Gillette test for the SI joint. I will palpate with my left thumb on S2 and right thumb on right PSIs. I want you to lift your right knee a couple of times like you're doing marching. Yes. Can you do it 3 to 4 times? Yes. Please there and do it so we can appreciate the movement. Yes. And again. So as we can see, there should be a downward movement of the SI. If the SI is not moving adequately down, or instead if it's moving up, the test is considered as positive and SI joint stiffness. Yes. Can you face the camera? Yes. We will perform few functional tests such as squat test. Yes. Can you squat down, Solo? Yes. Move a little backward and do it one more time. Here I will see if he's compensating from back, if his knee is falling in, and also his ankle position. Yes. Can you try doing it on one side, single leg squat test? Yes. Here I can see, okay, no, don't go too down. Here I will see the balance, the Trendelenburg's test, the glute medius weakness, as well as the knee valgus and valgus. Yes. And the last thing which I want to do is the lunge test. Yes. Here also I will see if knee is falling in or varus valgus and the back and the hip muscles. Yes. I will always compare all the sides on both the sides. Yes. Can I ask you to sit down here now? Yes. Sit at the edge of the bed. So in this position I can assess the strength for the hamstring and quads. I want you to take your it up. Yes. Push against my hand. This is for your quads, and similar way, bend your knee. This is for your hamstrings. For the hip flexors, can you take your thigh up? This is to test his hip flexors. We can also perform the neurological examination for reflexes of knee and ankle in this position. Yes. Sit relaxed. At the tibial tuberosity for knee jerk. Relax. Yes. Which is for your L2, L3, L4 segment. And can you bend to test the ankle? Just relax, we'll put it in dorsiflexion and hit it at TA, which is for your L5, S1 segment. Now I want you to show the slums test, which is a classical neural compression test. So can you touch the chin to the chest? Yes. Bend from your thoracic spine, imagine you have the worst posture ever. Yes. Now extend this side. Yes. Now I will apply passive pressure, overpressure on the neck, and also I will do dorsiflexion. Relax. If the patient's symptoms are coming back, I can either ask him relax. I can either ask him to straighten his neck or do plantar flexion and see if the patient's symptoms are reducing to find out if the test is positive. Okay. Now let's progress to the Thomas test. What I want you to do is hold your thigh with one hand. Yes, come at the edge and roll down in the bed. In this test, I will assess for several components such as the flexor tightness, which we come to know if there is excessive lumbar lordosis or if the thigh is not touching the plinth. You also see for the rectus femoris or quadriceps tightness if the knee is extending, and if the hip is abducting, we can also comment about the lateral thigh tightness. Yes, come on. Can you stand for a minute? Thank you. And Thomas test also I will always compare on the both sides. I want you to lie down on your back. So I'll start with assessing the hip mobility. Flexion is good. External rotation at hip, internal rotation at hip, and also compare on the other side. Relax. I will start with SI joint tests such as Tabor's test, which is flexion, abduction, external rotation at the hip, and compare on both sides the tightness or stiffness. Anything, so any pain? Okay. I will also do the classic SLR test for the lower limb compression. If the patient's symptoms are coming back, reproduction of the same symptoms which he has, then I will come slightly at lower range. I will add a sensitizer such as dorsiflexion or hip adduction, or ask him to do a cervical flexion. If the symptoms are provocating, the test is considered as positive for the neural symptoms. Similarly, you can also add knee flexion or plantar flexion, which will reduce the patient's symptoms. One more test for the SI which I want to show is SI distraction test, where I will place both my hands on the ASIs and give a dorsolateral distraction. Repeat it for 3 to 5 times and see if the patient's pain is coming back. Any pain, discomfort?
No.
No. Great. We'll proceed for dermatomal and myotomal assessment. So ideally we do it with the back of the reflex brush or esthesiometer. So I'm just going to touch you. You let me know if you're feeling my touch or not. Okay? This is for your L1. Yes. L2.
Yes.
L3.
Yes.
L4.
Yes.
L5. And your S1. Feeling it on the both sides equally?
Yeah.
Great. Now let's do the myotomal assessment. So for L1, L2, I want you to take your thigh towards you. Yes, take it towards you. L1, L2, great. For L3, extend your knee like this against my hand. Perfect. L3. Take your ankle towards you. L4. For L5, just to take the great toe towards you. Yes, this will test the extensor hallucis longus. Yes, and for S1, press your ankle down against my hand for the plantar flexion. Okay, great. Can you lie on your side, please? In the side position, I can test for the hip abductor strength. Yes, I want you to take your thigh up. Yes, take it up. Okay, good. And compare on the other side. And can you bend your knees for me slightly? That's it. I can also perform the SI compression test by placing my both hands on the proximal rim of the iliac and give a compression. Any pain
No.
in the thigh region? Okay. Go on your stomach, please. The main component is palpation of the lumbar spine. I will palpate the last strip, come in the center which coincides with T12 and go down for L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, S1, S2. I will also palpate for both the PSIs. I will also look for if there is pain, tenderness, muscle atrophy, palpate the paravertebral muscle spasm if there is. Check for both sides QL, glute med, glute maximus. Check for any atrophy, scarring or bruising present. In this position, I also want to show the last neural compression test, which is the prone knee bend. I will passively bend the patient's knee. If the patient's symptoms are not coming back, then you progress to the next step, which is hip extension. And try if the patient's symptoms are coming back, then the test is positive for neural symptoms of L1, L2 and L3 segments. Okay, the last thing which I want to show here is extension, resistor hip extension. Can you raise your leg up with your knee straight against my hand? Great. And I can compare on the other side. And last minute's test is the passive hyperextension while stabilizing the lumbar spine. Any pain in the lumbar region?
No.
No. Great. So here is what I will do in my lumbar assessment. Thank you so much for the time and your patience. Have a great day.